Coming up on today's show, we have a special guest who's going to walk us through his recent trip to Walt Disney World. This is Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everybody, to episode 414 of Traveling with the Mouse. I am your host. My name is Adam. For this week, I am joined, as always, by John.
Nice work, pal.
And Jason.
Are you our ghost host?
I might be.
I mean, it is obviously Halloween, as Haunted Mansion is now in theaters in the end of July.
Great timing for that movie.
Haunted Mansion, and then 2 weeks later, it's Mickey's Not So Scary. So
it is Halloween season. Technically, it kicks it off. But this episode, we have our very special guest, Raul. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Adam, and Jason, and John.
Glad to have you.
So Raul and I are friends, then we work together, and we've actually only met in person one time, and that was actually in Spain.
Ooh.
We were together, because you live in New York City.
I do live in New York City.
Big Apple.
Yeah. And we're down here in Atlanta. So
what is Atlanta?
Hotlanta.
We're in the Big Peach, I guess you could say there.
The Big Peach.
If you want to call it something like that, sure. There's a lot of nicknames for Atlanta.
Hotlanta.
But anyway, thanks for joining. So we talked about Disney in Spain. I remember it came up. And so when the time came for your trip, you reached out. And so I think I may have unleashed the floodgates of the Disney knowledge that we have obtained on you. But
I think did you discover we're experts?
I knew going in that Adam was an expert, but I was shocked at the level of knowledge that was in my little chat that he kept on pinging me from, like, little tricks on how to skip the line while you're actually in, those rooms waiting to go to the ride.
Right.
So, there was a lot of knowledge to be had. And frankly, I was a little bit shocked of the level of knowledge required to do a trip like this. So, after the whole 4 days that I was spent at Disney, I realized that without Adam and without knowing everything, it would have been a completely different experience, like 100%.
Well, you picked it up very quickly, actually. I thought, I'll just be pulling your lightning lanes all day and helping modify them and everything. But you're like, I got this. Like, you showed me the way. I've now learned. I know what to do. Let me do my thing.
Awesome. And now I can proudly say, if any of my friends are going to Disney, I will help them.
You will pay it forward. Yes,
exactly.
Very well. I love that. So let's start with the beginning. Your first day was Magic Kingdom. You did the 4-day ticket, so you did each park.
Yeah. So this trip was with me, my mom, and my nephew.
Okay.
And this was my mom's idea. She was going to take my nephew Tristan to Disney World for the first time. And then at the last minute, I decided to tag along because last year I actually went to Disney World for 1 day with my colleague Anna from work. We were at a work trip and we just said, why not go to Disney for a day? And that's when I realized that Disney was no joke.
Yeah.
And then so I did Animal Kingdom 1 day last year and I did not do it correctly. And coming into this trip, I knew that if I left my mom by herself with a 13-year-old who is no help, that they would tear each other apart in the standard lane. Like they would not make it to the ride.
Right.
So we started in Magic Kingdom. We talked a lot before that about, I asked you about the 4 days, if I should do the 4 days, if I should do 3 days, one Magic Kingdom, the second Animal Kingdom, the third,
Epcot.
double of Epcot and
Hollywood. Yeah.
Hollywood. But glad that we did the 4 days.
Yeah. Spread it out a little bit.
And we started in Magic Kingdom bright and early. I think we got there at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow. So did Adam instruct you to get there by 8? Was that his specific instructions?
Adam never really told me to do anything, but he did give me suggestions.
Oh, okay.
And so for the first day, this was my error. I thought that I had to be at the park physically to book Lightning Lane rides, like the extra, because there's the Genie Plus, right? And then there's the Lightning Lane that you buy per ride. And so I thought that one of those was geo-locked. So I was like, guys, we have to get up, we have to go, blah, blah, blah.
Get there.
But I always knew the Magic Kingdom was, of all the parks, that was going to be the park that was going to be the biggest in terms of what we were going to do, the amount of rides. I had booked us a lunch and a dinner, so I knew that there was a lot to cover in that one day.
Yeah. But, okay, the start of the day, though, 7 a.m., I messaged you. I've got Tron boarding group, and I got Space Mountain for you.
So, Raul, were you on property?
No, I was staying with a family friend out of property.
Okay. Yeah. So how long was your drive in? Was that hard to get to the park? Especially for Magic Kingdom, that can be a challenge.
It was around a 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
Then we did not pay for
preferred parking.
Yeah. Which was fine. And then we had to take a monorail.
Yeah.
And then we got to the park. And we got to the park right as the Tron Group 1 was called. And you had messaged me and said that they had boarded early. And so then I started freaking out. My mom is, so I bought the whole like photo pass thing. So whenever my mom saw one of those individuals in the green, you have to stop and take a photo. And so that delayed me a few minutes, like every time I was trying to get anywhere. And so we were on our way to Tron. And FYI, my mom is celebrating her 70th birthday this year.
Oh, congratulations.
So she was a little bit wary of certain rides, and I knew that Tron was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But I really had no idea what it was. I just knew that I had to ride it. So we went into the virtual queue, boarding group 1, and it was seamless. We walked in, and then we got to the ride, and I saw that it was some motorcycle.
Right.
And the way that you're positioned on the ride, it's maybe not the most comfortable for certain people.
Sure.
And so it was the first ride that we did in the morning, and it was probably out of all of the roller coasters, except for Guardians, that ride was a little bit intense. And so my mom got off that ride and was kind of like, "Oh, what did you make me do?"
Yeah, I understand it.
But it was a lot of fun, and I think that's relatively recent.
The newest ride, just opened a few months ago. Yeah.
This
so did the 13-year-old love it?
The 13-year-old loved it. He was a little scared, but after we got on, he was like, "Oh wow, that was cool."
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but to be fair, I also last year during my conference, I did ride Guardians. And so I had this idea of like, oh my God, Guardians is like, no.
Oh, right.
And so when I did this ride and I heard that it was newer than Guardians, I had a certain expectation, and Tron did not live up to a certain expectation that I had. But this is a more traditional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And so I still had fun, but I was like, oh, this is not like Guardians, if that makes sense.
So the real story here is that they started building Tron a long time ago. And they were going to finish it, but then COVID caused them to shut down. So in theory, if COVID hadn't happened, Tron would have opened first, and Guardians would have opened second.
Which is how it should have been, really, because it got overshadowed by Guardians.
Yeah.
Big time. And I think we all agree that Guardians is a better coaster overall, but we still love Tron. Tron's good, but it's very short. And Guardians is just so much fun. It's like a party riding that ride.
Yes.
So anyway, okay.
Yeah, Tron is good. And then after that, we went directly to Space Mountain.
Yeah.
That was just me and Tristan because my mom was like, hell no.
I'm done. Understood. Yeah.
And Space Mountain was nice. It was good. And then, unfortunately, my mom went to go get some water, and the gentleman told her that we needed to go to Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress.
Oh.
And so my mom came back to me and was like, we have to do this ride. It was recommended by a local. So we went, and
25 minutes later.
exactly. But before that, the ride smelled like old machine.
Yeah.
And it's an old ride.
Yes.
Yeah.
I realized it was an old ride. It was cute. You know, the staple, like nuclear family, like moving through the eons. I don't know when you recently like have done the Carousel of Progress, but
yeah.
The funny part is that at the end, the final like modern family, I think it's supposed to be like present day, but the house and all the electronics and like the desktop is from the 90s or the 80s. And so, but they're like talking to Alexa. Like, I think they like added stuff to the last
Yeah.
house, and it was a little bit funny.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, it was the turn of the century, the 20s to 40s. And when it was originally built, you go to the 60s. But the 60s got replaced, I think has it been replaced 3 times now or 2 times?
I think it was 3. The latest was 94, correct, John?
I think a refresh not that long ago of the 90s.
Right. 94 was...
They've
Only
kind
up
of
to
made
date, but-
small updates after that one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so just like you said, Raul, yeah.
94 makes sense because she's on a big, chunky desktop, but then at the same time they're talking to like an Alexa, and she's turning on the lights. So I was like,
I think the idea in 94, it was supposed to feel futuristic a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with talking to the oven and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. It was supposed to be in the new century. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway.
mean, I feel like us Disney fans, our hardcore Disney fans, like it because it's something Walt worked on, right?
Yes.
So that's the real charm of it.
Actually, the 64 World's Fair right there in Queens, that actual ride was there.
Right.
And it was dismantled, moved to Disneyland for a while in California, and then in 75 it was moved to Florida. So it's been there ever since. So little New York tie-in there.
there you go. So yeah, after that we went to It's a Small World.
Oh, okay.
So
And
this, right, we were waiting because we got a Jungle Cruise, I believe, after this, and I moved it up a little bit, but you had about an hour of time in between.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I think we went to It's a Small World.
Yeah.
Super cute. I remember I've been to Disney World when I was really young as well,
Yeah.
and I remembered this ride. But I think it's also in Disney. Is there a Small World in Disneyland as well?
Yeah.
They have it in a lot of the parks around the world too.
Okay.
Most parks have one, yeah.
So when I was young, this ride was one that I remembered and being like, oh, this is so cool. I loved it. And my mom also remembered it. So it was really cute to go back and see. And actually, for the most part, I think has aged kind of well. Like, it's still super cute. All the puppets are really nice. And I think it has a nice message. And then we went on our way to What is the World with the jungle and the pirates.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Adventureland. And we did the Jungle Cruise. That was really cute. We had a great time there. I was kind of surprised that was one of the rides that like it's booked like the most.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I had a good time, but I did not expect that.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons for that, but there was a movie recently, I think that gave it a boost. And
It's low capacity because it's weird. I'm about to go to Disneyland, and there at Disney World, it averages 60 plus minutes wait time a lot of the time. Disneyland is like 15 minutes. So it's just
Interesting.
yeah, it just depends. Well, there's way more to do there. But anyway, yes. But we also wanted to work in Jungle Cruise because of your lunch,
Yeah.
which I believe you, like we had talked about that was a recommendation I gave for
Yes, you
my
did.
favorite place in Magic Kingdom.
Skipper Canteen, I assume then.
Yes, Skipper Canteen.
Yes. So we did the Jungle Cruise, and then I think we
Pirate?
did Pirates.
Yeah.
And after Pirates was a lot of fun. I remember doing it at some point
Yeah.
a few years ago. It was great, aged well. And then
Yeah.
we went to the canteen, which was your recommendation.
Yeah.
And we had a blast, and it was delicious, and it was probably one of the highlights when it comes to
Okay.
lunch dining experiences in the parks.
Yeah.
Mom was thoroughly impressed with what she had. Tristan he eats like rice, so he was fine.
Right.
It was definitely like a nice reprieve because we're already tired.
Yeah.
And I made sure that our lunches and our dinners at the park were nice and a sit-down experience because you need that break. Have a little drink, relax, and then go off to our adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you get the Brazilian cheese bread?
We got the Brazilian cheese bread. Brazilian cheese bread was amazing. I had too many.
They are good. And one of the few places you can get a drink, like alcohol, you know.
Yes, we
before-
ordered some alcohol. I got, I don't remember what I got. I got like a specialty drink, and my mom got a beer. And we had a good rest there. I would definitely recommend it to anyone looking for lunch.
It's a good spot. It's one of my favorites.
After lunch, we went to the Haunted Mansion. It was cute. It was a cute ride.
Right.
I like the whole reveal when you're waiting in that room, and then the room gets
Stretch.
longer and longer and stretches.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And then after Haunted Mansion, we waited for the parade. I remember getting to a place on the path, and there was shade and a place to sit.
Right.
And we needed that
Yeah.
place to sit and the shade because these 4 days, living in New York, going down to Florida in the middle of summer, very hot. It was so hot.
I can imagine.
We were debating if we should wait for this parade or not because it was so hot. But we're very glad that we did. It was super cute, super nice, and a good experience, a very Disney experience.
Yeah. It's a good parade.
You had the fire-breathing dragon,
Yes, that cool dragon from Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, Maleficent.
Yeah.
And then we did Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Okay.
And that was kind of like we were having some time to waste. Let's see what we can do. And I saw we didn't book a lightning for that. I just walked in. And it was really cute. It was so cute. It was so nice. And it reminded me of It's a Small, what is it in Animal Kingdom with the bugs?
Oh,
It's a bug. Yeah.
It's Tough to Be a Bug.
Yeah.
tough to be in the.
Yeah.
And this was like that, the 3D experience, but I think this must have been newer. It seemed newer than that. It's Tough to Be.
Yeah. And they've added new scenes too recently. So
definitely super nice. Like one of those, I love the whole like Disney 3D little experiences with the, you feel the effects of the film. It was super nice, and I'm glad that we did that. And then I think we made our way to the dwarves.
Oh,
And then
did your mom decide to ride it or no?
so we were in line in the lightning lane for dwarves, and then it started sprinkling. And I realized this was the first iteration of 4 days, a 4-day row of afternoon rain
every
in
day.
Disney when the forecast was sunny the whole time. And
That's this summer.
Yeah.
so dwarves closed, and
Yeah.
we were right there about to get swiped in, and then dwarves closed. And so the lady said that we can use it. Since we didn't tap on it, then we could just come back whenever, I think was the
It'll convert to an anytime.
And so we were waiting in the rain to figure out what we were going to do. And then I realized that The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was right across the street.
Yeah, of course.
So I convinced my mom to run across the street in the rain to go to see Winnie the Pooh. And that was a really cute ride.
Yeah.
Growing up, Pooh Bear was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And so it was nice. It was cute. I think it aged very well. After that ride, Seven Dwarfs did open up.
We now for the Winnie the Pooh ride, we voted on this podcast that it would be the best ride to ride while under the influence of something, just because of how trippy it is.
It is trippy, especially the Huffalump section.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is so weird.
It's very confusing.
I don't remember as a kid the Huffalumps being so like psychedelic.
Yeah.
But they definitely are.
Yeah.
And then we went to Seven Dwarfs, and I convinced my mom. I was like, "Mom, we had to do this ride. It's the most popular ride in this park." Like we bought extra. It cost extra to ride this ride.
Yeah, you paid for it. Yeah.
And she loved it because it's not that. It is a coaster, but it's not as bad as Tron.
Yeah. Right.
Not that good. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not as intense.
Yeah, no. Yes.
Not as intense. And they have that little section in the middle that's like, you can see like the little that you're in the mine, and that's very, it felt very Disney ride-esque.
Yeah.
And being a coaster, so I really appreciated that. And it was probably my mom's favorite ride at Magic Kingdom. And I think, I don't know about Tristan. I think Tron was Tristan's favorite ride at Magic.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, that's cool, because I know you guys got coastered out after the end of the week. No more coasters.
Yes.
Cool.
And so, that was definitely a highlight for me for Magic Kingdom. Dwarfs. We went to The Little Mermaid. Very typical Disney ride. Cute. And then we went to Enchanted Tales with Belle.
Okay.
And then
another good experience.
I wanted to do that because of Be Our Guest, which was the dinner.
It's a good lead in. Yeah.
I like the lead ins,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we did that, and then we just waited, I think, 30 minutes because I was trying to move our reservation up. It was booked. I called, the app was booked. I called, and the lady couldn't help me. So then we arrived directly on time, like the 10 minutes before you get to your reservation time. And then I wouldn't say ordeal, but my time at Be Our Guest before being seated was not what I wanted. And I remember they had this big space to wait, but there's no seats. It's just a big empty like hall, and everyone is sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
And my mom is not going to sit on the ground. And I knew that this was one of the pricier locations to eat dinner. And I was shocked that they did not offer any seating area except for the outside to sit.
So in the daytime during lunch, that's actually a queue, because when you order lunch, they don't take your order at the table. They make you queue up, and you go to a register that's hidden back there, and then they bring it out to you. So you were sitting in the lunch queue area.
Well, that makes sense. So I complained, and they were so nice. All workers are so nice, and they're like, "Oh, well, Beast did this," or the chairs must have ran off.
Hilarious.
Well, I appreciated that little kind of quip. I was like, okay, whatever. And then they were 15 minutes late to seating me. So
that's
that was
those there.
like, and I was like, is this normal? And they're like, Beast.
Blame everything on Beast.
Yes. Beast must be yelling at the staff. Yeah.
So I wanted to do the experience. We walked in, we dined at the main hall. It was really nice. I walked into the 3 different dining options, the main hall, the Rose Room, and then I forgot what the other place is called.
It's just like a Beauty and the Beast
Is
threw
that
up in
the
their room.
dance, like where they dance or whatever? Or no, that's the
No,
main-
so that's the main ballroom, and then I think
Now the other room is just like a homage to Belle and Beast. It's like nothing specific from the movie. It's like I just
yeah,
have them
I think
everywhere.
there's just like photos there or something.
Yeah,
Pictures. So besides the waits and the no place to sit, we had a good time. We did the prefix. I mean, that's only a prefix, right?
Right. The dinner. Yeah.
popular thing.
Actually,
with
one
the-
thing-
So Adam likes to complain about this. This is why we never go, because when he has his kids, the pre-fee there or whatever is like $35 per kid, $40
Yeah,
or something.
40.
Really?
Oh yeah,
It's like $40, and then
They
his
won't
kids
eat
sit
it.
there and don't eat any of it. So he
No.
complains for the rest of the trip about how they didn't eat their $40 mac and cheese.
Yes.
That's a valid reason not to go there.
Yes.
There
I hate
Open
prefix
there
menus
are
for
so
kids.
few dinings that I will do with kids now. It's because of the whole stupid prefix.
Yes.
But anyway,
As an adult, I like it. I like it as an adult. But
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I had a French onion soup. It was good. I did like a special of the night, which was like I think it was beef bourguignon. I don't know what I think it was beef bourguignon. And then Tristan had a filet mignon, and my mom had, forget what she had, but everyone was happy with their meal.
Mhm.
And then that was the end of the day. We were
Fireworks.
exhausted. We saw the fireworks. It was beautiful. And then we make our way out. And then the monorail stops working.
Oh.
And so it
yeesh.
was like we probably left Be Our Guests around 10:30. And then we got to the monorail at 11. And then it broke.
Yes.
And we were in that line waiting, I think,
Oh,
like
man.
45 minutes.
they didn't try to take you over to the ferry boat?
We were deep in the line. We were
Oh.
deep in the monorail line. And I remember asking her when I got in, I was like, do you think this is faster than the ferry? And she said, oh, this is by far faster. So I was like, okay, fine. And then right when we're about to get on the monorail, it breaks. And
Oh, man.
that was not, we were exhausted. We had been there over 12 hours. So besides that,
Yeah.
the whole park experience was really good. But now looking back at my 4 days, I think that might have been my least favorite day.
interesting.
We kind of feel a lot of the same way, and I don't know if Adam gave you the warning, but it is guaranteed that at least one person has a meltdown at Magic Kingdom. At least one.
Yeah.
It is a feature of the park that they don't tell you about.
Right.
Some member of your
Mainly-
party.
Yeah. Probably because you can't get alcohol just anywhere. That's one problem.
know?
Gets the adults cranky, and then the kids usually get cranky because they're hot and tired and, wanting to do stuff all the time. Yeah, it happens.
So just
At least
curious,
once a
did
day.
you get a chance to ride the Skyliner?
No.
Oh, you didn't at any
Well-
point in time? Okay.
Right. Yeah,
Well,
there's a
since
big
you
debate.
talked about your experience at the monorail, I was hoping for a comparison. It's
Yeah,
kind of
Is
a,
it better?
John and I are Skyliner fans, and Adam's a monorail fan. So you
Yeah.
just gave us some more ammunition to
And now I was like, oh man, of course the monorail breaks down.
actually, that's why I did that.
Well, anyway.
Okay, but so you guys do, so two of you do the monorail.
No, we just have this ongoing joke,
It's
really.
ongoing.
'Cause- yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
ride the monorail, but the Skyliner
Yeah.
is superior. And John,
I would say the monorail's superior, but I'm definitely outnumbered on this. Sorry. I hate that it broke down on you. That sucks.
I mean, you have
That's-
a chance of riding private. It's
Cool.
constantly moving. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's not constantly moving.
Well-
that's a lie.
For
'Cause
the
it
most
stops all
part,
the
it's
time.
constantly moving.
It stops all the time. Anyway, let's move on. Day 2 was Animal Kingdom.
Day 2, Animal Kingdom.
And I remember, let's see, I think I booked the safari for you at 7 a.m. Did you like sleep in? Were you like
7 a.m. was
super
sorry?
tired or? No.
No,
Good.
I was
You got it.
still in the mode of let's get up early and do these
Oh, wow.
parks.
Okay.
So we got there pretty early, right when the park opens an hour earlier than the other
early.
parks, right?
Mm,
Because
it's
it
an early.
closes early.
It's an early.
So we got there and went directly to the safari. And I had done the safari last year with Anna.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
It's so funny how like the Jungle Cruise in Magic Kingdom is a ride, and then there's an actual safari with actual animals.
Right. Yes.
In which came first?
Less jokes on the safari.
Although
Depends.
I was gonna say, although my last safari guide really did give the Jungle Cruise vibe off.
Yeah. They can get some good jokes in, but
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, we did the safari. They did have a lot of jokes on the safari. After that, you guys are making me remember.
I know. Well, I remember you bought, that was when you could buy Flight of Passage. So I think it was early afternoon.
Flight of Passage was early afternoon.
Yeah.
I wanted to segment the Pandora section in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I was going to do safari in the morning, and then I wanted to do the river.
Cali
River Rapids. And I was so excited, and
I
then
remember.
when it broke down. And so Cali broke down for the day, but then I got that special
Yes. The multi.
and then Adam told me that the multi is like super cool. You can do all these things with it. And then you told me all the ins and outs about like when you see rain in the forecast, you book like an outside ride so you can get this multi-pass.
Yes. There's ways to get it.
My mind was being opened. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like these are the hints. These are the tricks that people don't know.
And it resets your booking window, which a lot of people don't realize.
So you can book another one once it converts.
Right.
Yes.
Just start stacking them up.
Assuming that still is a thing, right?
No, yeah. So you were able
The changes.
to book something right after that, and you still had your multi. But Cali never reopened, right? So you never got back to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, Cali never reopened, which was sad because I liked the ride. I did it last year, but it wasn't like a make or break.
Right.
And
Well, okay, if you ever go back, then I know that you and I can hang out because nobody ever wants to ride Collie with me, and I love Collie. So.
why don't you like it? Why don't the other two like it?
I love it. They don't like getting wet.
I love the queue.
No, actually, I enjoy Collie. I mean, I just
haven't been with you, John. But every time I go, everybody's like, "Oh, I don't want to get so wet. I don't want to do Collie." And I'm like, "I'm gonna do Collie."
I'll do Cali anytime. It's just the queue is better than the ride for me.
It has a really good view of Everest on it.
Sure.
It does. During the ride, you've never noticed that?
There's lots of good views of Everest.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about on Collie. It has specifically. I just happened to notice this last time looking through when you're going through the rainforest area. It just has a very picturesque view of it.
I was intentional, I'm sure.
I guess I would just turn the right way to notice it that time.
Yeah. Did you guys do Everest at all? Because I'm sure at that point, roller coasters, your mom probably wouldn't have.
We did not do Everest, and that was the reason why.
Yeah.
That my mom and Tristan also wasn't really roller coaster He would do them, but I would have to convince him. And so we did not do Everest, but I remember that after the safari, we did the whole gorilla experience. Nice.
Yep.
And that cute little bird area with all the birds.
That's cool.
So I have a funny story about that. I went there and I sat down and I was like trying to have a peaceful moment on one of those benches one time. And I was just sort of thinking, and then one of them pooped on me. So just don't sit still too long.
That's good luck.
I was with you when that happened, wasn't I?
No. That was my first solo trip.
Okay. I remember somebody getting pooped on.
Yeah.
Anyways. Sorry. Sideshow.
So that was good luck, I guess, right?
Exactly. And so then we made our way down for lunch because we had we went to Tiffin's.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, I'm curious. I want to hear your review for this one for sure.
Yeah.
I thought that Tiffin's was that whole place, including the Nomad Lounge.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like that has great views of like this river, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I realized that was the Nomad Lounge.
Yeah. Right.
But then I realized that Tiffin's was very nice.
Yeah, it's fancy.
It's very fancy, and plus my mom loves fancy, so that was good. We went in there. It was a very good experience. We started with like their signature bread. Bread was good. We had some delicious dates that were wrapped in bacon and stuffed with lamb.
Oh my.
And that was good. I was like, oh wow, like this is
really good.
This was delicious. And then my mom had the baked fish. It was a whole fish. It was the whole thing.
That's what I got the one time I went. It's so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. So we shared that. Tristan had some noodles. I asked for the spicy Szechuan noodles or something. Was not spicy at all. But the fish itself was very good.
Mm.
And they had some really good beers. I had a beer from Africa. I don't know where it was from. And the whole experience was lovely. I had a good time there. It was expensive.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that I was like, I would have considered this more of like a dinner place.
Yeah.
But it was good. I recommend it, but it's expensive.
It's considered a signature restaurant. So it's on, those are all pricier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think is there a signature dining? There must be in Magic Kingdom. Which is the signature of Magic Kingdom?
It would be Cinderella's Royal Table.
Yeah.
Would be the most expensive by far. I don't know if they call it signature or unique or something, but mostly around Magic Kingdom, you'll go over to the Contemporary and eat at the California Grill, or go to Meridian and eat at Marcuse's. Or
you guys were gonna do that one, but I think
so we were supposed to go to California Grill this day.
Yeah,
but my Disney mates were on empty.
Yeah,
I had booked it around I think 7 because I wanted to see the fireworks.
Right. And I told you about that's a really good spot.
And that was a good spot. And they were like, we cannot last until and I was like, fine, like I'll cancel it. So we went back home and had a family meal with our family friends.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tiffin's was great. It's expensive, but I think worth it. Do you guys think it's worth it?
So we have a funny story. So Adam, he'll eat anything with flavor, is what he says. And he does like to eat quite a bit. And when we went in there, I did some research because this is earlier on in our exploration of some of these signatures. And I told him that some of the portions are smaller.
Yeah.
He didn't listen, and he ordered the duo of venison. And it came out in this plate.
Giant plate.
2 little small pieces of venison meat. And he looked down and he's like,
where's the rest of my food?
But I think it's delicious. Adam still has gone to Nomad Lounge many times, but hasn't gone back. I think he wants to, but he's got to order better next time.
Right. And the other thing, I don't think I mentioned this to you, but Satuli Canteen is the other place in Pandora. And we just always end up ordering lunch there because it's a quick service. So it's lower price point, but really good food. So we end up going there for almost everything.
One of the best.
And we'll hit up Nomad Lounge, and we never have time to go back to Tiffin's, but I need to give it another try.
I wanted to do Nomad Lounge, but no one wanted to drink with me. So,
well,
is it worth it? Is it good?
Oh, Nomad Lounge is considered possibly the best lounge.
Yeah.
Some of the food from Tiffin's is available in the lounge. So
I saw the light bites. They have light bites.
Yeah. Most people would say it's their favorite lounge, but as you know, you probably already know, I have a favorite, which you visited the next day.
We'll get to
that.
So then after that, it was Pandora time.
Yeah.
We did Avatar, Light of Passage.
Yeah.
And that was just incredible. I think that was my favorite ride out of all 4 parks.
Nice.
And that was Tristan's favorite ride out of all 4 parks.
Wow. Across the board. Wow.
It was just so, immersive. It was so cool.
Yeah. Really good.
Breathtaking. I would 100%. And it was so, I was a little bit frustrated because last year when I did the park with Anna, my partner was also with us. And we did one day, and it was Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about anything. And so, of course, I could not. Once I realized last year that I had to book it additionally, all the times were gone. So then the wait was like 2 hours. And I was so frustrated because I knew that was the ride.
Right.
So coming in here, I had a lot of expectations, and it fulfilled those expectations.
Nice.
What are your opinions on Flight of Passage?
It's one of our favorites for sure. Like we did like a bracket a couple of years ago, and it won, didn't it? Best ride. It was like the best. It won our bracket, whatever it was. So it's definitely in our top 5 for sure.
It is. I think Flight of Passage consistently ends up with a lot of the folks as their best ride.
Yeah.
I think it was my favorite ride for a while. I would say if he picked right now, I'm going to pick Guardians as my go-to.
Yeah.
So would I. Guardians is probably number 1 still for me. But Flight of Passage is probably still top 3.
It's like Flight and Guardians is like here for me.
Got it.
Right.
Flight of Passage, I've kind of talked about it more recently. One of the, if not the most immersive projects that they've done. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe Rohde, I'm sure, had something to do with that. So,
of course. The part in the cave is my favorite, where you kind of calm down for a second, and then all the little.
Yes.
It's so great. Yeah.
And, you talk about the long wait though, but I know I waited probably longer than some. It wasn't too bad. I did it first thing in the morning one time and just went through the regular queue. But going through the regular queue is actually a good part of the
it's definitely has a good queue. It has a good queue. I would say.
I kind of hate that you get to miss it during Lightning Lane, but
yeah, I don't miss it that much. But we waited maybe 50 minutes, 45, 50 minutes at one time.
Yeah.
It was worth that. Yeah. I mean, the queue is fun.
I think that this style of ride is what I view as the progression of what I think a Disney ride is. Like that immersive, like you're going, like usually you're in the little cart and you're like looking at the world.
Right.
And that's what I view a Disney ride is.
Story.
This was that, except now. This is what I think of Disney.
Modern.
I do love like the coasters.
Yeah.
But I don't really associate Disney with coaster rides. And that's what I think is so brilliant about Guardians, is that it is a coaster, but it's also this experience, which is so cool.
Yeah, you do a good job with that.
But I do think that this Flight of Passage is a more traditional, like, this is what a Disney ride looks like in the 2020s, I guess.
Right. Yeah, it holds its own. And I couldn't modify for you this day. I was not. They changed something from that day to the next. So I was kind of hoping I could get your Navi River Journey moved up so that you wouldn't have this amazing experience and then go do Navi River Journey right after. Kind of a progression versus, going from that to the next. But what was Navi like for you?
Navi was great. I liked it a lot. That was more traditional Disney.
Yes, sure.
But I think it was done very well. And I was actually thinking about this. Both Tristan and my mom especially like Navi.
Okay.
Thinking about which one to do first. Yeah, we do Navi first, and then leave like the grand finale for
this for
Flight. But I would 100% say that Navi is a must at Animal Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a very good ride.
As long as the end animatronic is working, then I think it that's the kind of the
Miss Cleo, I call her.
Whenever they're like working on it, they just show a screen version of it. And I feel like it's not as good when you have that. A little disappointing. You get to the end and you're like, oh, that's it. But I personally like Navi River. Adam, again, also has a little bit of anxiety against me because I once made him wait, 70 minutes to ride that
More
ride?
than that, 89 minutes.
Oh.
To be exact.
It probably is what soured him.
That was a long time ago.
But
they actually, if you stay in the standby line, you didn't have to do this because you're in the lightning, and you stay and it's very long, they have a beer cart halfway through.
Cool.
that you can buy a drink.
Not worth it.
I'm gonna say they must not be there all the time. I don't remember seeing that. Yes.
Yeah.
It was running that day. Running that day.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about a different experience when it comes if you have to wait for certain rides. And I totally
Yeah.
it would be interesting to know how I would feel about Navi if I had to wait like 45 minutes for it.
Yeah, and that queue is not particularly themed.
There's nothing to that one. Flight of Passage is really, they spent all their money on Flight of Passage, making it great.
Yeah. Both of those lanes when we were, of course, Flight and Navi were over an hour long when we were there. And I think this is the point in time where my mom realizes that without me but vicariously through you,
Right.
her experience would have been totally different, and
totally.
to imagine her and Tristan going by themselves, she doesn't even have the app. They would have probably done 2 rides max and would have left because it's just I cannot imagine going to Disney and waiting in those queues and having no idea. I just find it.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to understand that everyone at this park is as knowledgeable, at least even the app. Does everyone have the app? You have to do so much with that app, and I just wonder about these older people. Do they do it?
Yeah, I think people use it to a degree, but I mean, as far as mastering it, there's probably a very small percentage of the population, period, truthfully.
Right.
Yeah. They've basically made it where it's almost impossible to have a good time there without the app.
Yeah.
Even if you don't pay for Genie Plus, let's say you don't go with Genie Plus or anything, you're flying even blinder without the app because you can't even open it up and go look at the wait times. You're just going to walk over somewhere and be like, oh, I guess
they're going to walk somewhere else.
Don't get me wrong, the technology is good and everything, but I don't know. I think I would rather not have it or have less of it. Let's just put it that way. Now that I've experienced it.
Yeah, John doesn't like all this. He wants to just have the old school.
Well, I mean, I
Paper
feel like it could
tickets,
be.
paper.
No, I'm not saying going that way necessarily. I'm just saying that if I have to live on my phone, that takes a little something away, pretty much, and you just about have to live on your phone to do the experience. You see what I mean? So.
Yeah, one of the tips is to bring a phone charger, like a portable phone charger, as I was running out of battery, in the afternoon. Yeah. Talking to you and refreshing and doing everything that you have to do on the app.
Yeah, yeah.
And ideally, you have to have 2 people in the group that are versed in the app. So if one is not looking, the other can be ready. And it's, because you were that person for me. So I was like, oh, wow, if I didn't have him, then I would have to teach maybe Tristan. Right. And then both of us would be on the apps, trying to reserve things or refresh things or getting the earlier time. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was around that time where it was settling in that, oh, wow, this is a completely different experience going in with the lightning lanes, as the original story was that Navi River Journey was so nice for us because we did not wait 50 minutes for it. So when we walked in, I was like, oh, this is such a cute ride. So Disney, LOL, let's continue.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. It also rained right here at this time. So we were stuck in the tunnel and no one was leaving and everyone was like, get out, get out, get out. And no one paid attention to these poor workers.
Right. I was going to say, that's exactly what I experienced in my last Navi River.
Really?
It started raining.
Yeah. It rained while we were in it.
There's not really anywhere to go that's covered nearby.
No.
You have to...
And apparently it's a rain shelter. So it's a designated rain shelter. So you can technically just stay there.
Mm.
And then after that, we did the Lion King little show.
Festival of Lion King.
Festival of Lion King.
Good, thoroughly good. Yeah.
It was really good. I liked it a lot. My mom asked me how this compared to Lion King on Broadway. Said it was slightly different.
I can imagine.
Just a little
more condensed.
I assume that you guys...
I've seen Lion King on Broadway, actually, in New York, yeah.
Great. Have you guys? Adam
I have
John?
not. I have not.
Wow. Okay, well.
I saw them perform on the Tonys, but
Okay.
obviously that wasn't the whole show.
Definitely go. I mean, it's spectacular. I had great seats right in the front. And yeah, so everyone listening, go and
Go to
and
New York.
experience it. So that was nice. And then after that, we did It's Tough to Be a Bug, because
Nice.
I remember I went to Disney World in the 90s, right when Animal Kingdom opened. That was my first time at Disney World. And I remember being a kid and seeing this huge tree and being just like amazed
Yeah.
at the size of this tree. And I remember going to It's Tough to Be a Bug and being just like wowed by it. So we went, and I love the rides at Disney that obviously at some point in time had a very long queue. And
Right.
this one of those rides where it's like zigzag, zigzag, zigzag for this 10-minute standby line.
Yeah.
But it's just, shows the progression and age of, at some point this was the big deal. At some point this was like the thing that everyone had to go and experience a long time ago. So it was really cute. And I do think that if you're at Animal Kingdom, go see It's Tough to Be a Bug, because, it was one of the staple things way back.
Did your mom and Tristan get shocked by the poke in the butt? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. I always leaned for it because I hated that one. That scared the crap out of
until
me.
I had kids, I just never realized how much of that show was probably
Terrifying?
hints for the younger ones.
The
You
spiders.
start thinking about it more.
Yes.
You start thinking about it
everything.
more when you go with young ones.
Or when they spray you with all this and swat at you.
Basically
Yeah.
trying to kill you.
Right.
The stink bug. It's
Yes. All that. It's so fun. Yeah. It is so
And-
fun.
So then I think that was actually almost it, because we were supposed to go to Dinoland and do the dinosaur ride,
9.
but then it broke down.
Oh, I'm shocked.
And that was
if
what
you had ridden it, it might have looked like it was broken down.
Yeah, it's in a lot of disrepair right now.
Yeah.
So I
But yeah.
think that was actually it for Animal Kingdom experience.
Mhm.
We skipped Dinoland, and I think that was fine to skip, right? Did I miss anything in Dinoland?
No, not really.
No, there's pretty much nothing but dinosaur over there now.
Yeah, there's not
I
much
feel like
to
it's
see.
one of those places that needs to change.
They're
they're talking about a
it's
lot
going
of
to.
stuff there that they're
The whole
thinking
thing
of.
will change probably.
the way you can tell is because when they're ready to change it, they pretty much give up on it, and that's kind of what you've seen in Dinoland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll last 5 or 6 more years until they finally wipe it out. Might be a Moana area. Could be.
That's what they're. Yeah, Moana, Zootopia are all being talked about as being back in there.
I'm surprised that, when it first opened, that Jungle Book wasn't considered for Animal Kingdom.
Didn't it have a show or something? I'm thinking over there. It did to start with.
in the 90s and early 2000s. But yeah, it didn't last long, I don't think.
I know they
Yeah.
had Tarzan there at one time. That's where it was in the theater that used to be, or that is where Nemo is now.
Yeah.
It was once upon a time.
And we will be right back.
Teaching her how to drive. But Dad, why not use Greenlight to help her save for her own car? Mowing lawns and getting paid. She'll go from washing your car to flexing with her own. How? With Greenlight, the money app for families. Together, you can navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing. Because when you teach her to be smart about money, she'll go far. Invest in your best investment. Sign up today at greenlight.com.
This episode is also sponsored by Zencastr. We use Zencastr for traveling with a mouse, and we really enjoy how easy and user-friendly it is. You can record up to 4K video and high-quality audio, and they have backups, so you never have to worry about losing any of your audio. Go to Zencastr.com and use the promo code TWTM and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience we do for all of our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story with Zencastr.
And now, back to the show.
Okay, so then we are at Epcot, day 3.
Yes. My favorite.
It's also my
I
favorite.
think it's everyone's favorite.
Yeah. All
It
the
is-
adults' favorite.
At this point in our journey, my mom and Tristan have lost all sorts of steam. They do not want to wake up early. They do not want to stay late.
Yeah.
Good park for that.
This, we arrived here a little bit later than
Yeah.
we should have. Because I remember I
Oh.
was mad at Tristan for being late because we were supposed to go to Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we actually, I think we missed by like a few minutes, our virtual queue.
Yeah.
And
They don't
I
care.
was so upset. And I was like, this is why you get to the parks early. I was chastising both of them. So then I go up there and I please, can you
Yeah.
click
They don't
that
care.
in? And they were like, oh, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. They
That-
don't care at Guardians at all. We've showed up at night with a morning boarding group and they still let us in with no issue whatsoever. So,
So
Yeah.
that was probably the longest wait that we did
right.
our entire time at the parks, actually.
Yeah. Right.
Boarding group, and it was still the longest wait.
It's tolerable though. Guardians is a tolerable standby or virtual queue.
I will say that the longest wait, this was probably like 30 minutes. We did not wait in almost any lines this
Yeah.
time in Disney, which, I mean, yeah, the longest we waited was probably 10 minutes and any of the other rides. This was
Yeah.
probably around 30. And, it's cute because they do little things. And then we went into that waiting room with Glenn Close, who is my favorite actress. Everyone
Hey.
will know I met her. She's lovely.
Oh, nice.
And so she does her whole spiel, and you're like, okay, you have to go. You have
Yeah, it
to
was
get to
like,
the
go
right
the right-
side of the thing. And I was like, Mom, like, we have to, like, push these people.
Nice.
And it's cute. How they do it's weird how they direct your attention somewhere and then do other things when you're not
Yeah.
looking.
Right. Right.
So the room expands. That was really cool. And then, what can we say about Guardians? It's like going on a trip, like an actual, like, it's so psychedelic. And it's like being inundated with all of this, like, sensation,
Sensory overload.
sensory overload. And it is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the music, like everything about it. And then you told me that the music changes.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got 6 different. Do you remember what song you got the first time?
So the first time, oh my God, what was it? I can't remember it, but if you sing it to me, I'll remember.
It was in Iran, one way or another. Conga, September.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Everybody wants to rule the world, or really miss.
One of them was September, I think.
Disco Inferno.
Just
Oh, yeah.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Disco Inferno was the first one.
There you go.
And so, I think my mom was blown away. Like, my mom was like, what was this? The thing about when it goes backwards.
Yeah.
And that for Tristan, like, it was like, oh, wow, it was so cool. I mean, it's so well done.
Yeah. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know what to
story.
say. It's just probably the second best out of flights, but they're both musts. They're both must rides. 100%.
It's the best thing of the stuff they intended to have ready by the 50th.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So 100%. That was the best thing. And then
I
what
feel
do we?
like I had a test track booked for you, but I don't remember if it broke down. or something. Okay, that's
It
right.
broke down a little bit, but then we actually
Yeah.
got to ride it.
Big shock.
Yeah, big shocker.
Breaks down a
This
lot.
track breaks down a lot. So
That's why it's also a great strategy in the morning to book that one, because you could get a multi. It's also good if you get it at the end of a day, but we don't have to get into that. But
I was gonna say its entire 24-year history now is that it breaks down a lot. So
Yeah. It's still a cool experience though. But anyway.
Tristan loved designing his own car. It was like lime green with all of the things. And my mom, long story short, my mom lives in Texas. And we're from Texas originally. And so she has a car, but she has this fascination with buying a truck because it's flooding all the time in Houston.
Yeah.
More so than ever. So my mom was like, I'm going to get a truck so I can like run through the rapids. And so she's hell-bent on buying a damn truck. And I did not know that this whole ride is sponsored by Chevy.
really, yeah.
At the end of the ride,
Oh, you saw, yeah.
you go to like the showroom and there's a person there.
Did they try to sell her a truck?
So this woman was asking about her budget, was asking about this and that. And I said, do I get any points or do I get any sort of special offering if I buy a truck in Disney?
Or it's over.
But no, they don't buy, but they can
don't sell anything in this room.
Okay.
So we actually went inside multiple trucks.
Oh, wow.
So it worked.
Interesting.
Like, the whole, their whole sponsorship of this ride worked.
Good. It's the first time I've heard that, actually, but
yeah, that's actually
never thought of it.
A lot
that
of
way.
people do hear that.
How old is this ride?
It opened in January of '99. Originally, the original version.
That makes sense.
Of course, the new version's been around since 2010, 9, somewhere in that range.
Because we called it like the Tron.
Called it Tron track when it first changed.
Tron track, yeah.
But of course, it was originally scheduled to open in '97, so it was almost 2 years late. That's the kind of issues they had with it. It was almost 2 years behind schedule opening. So yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. And then we went to our lovely, the little destinations, what do you call it? The pavilion?
World Showcase.
The World Showcase. And I loved it. I mean, I work in travel. I have always been big about geography and destinations, and I always loved Epcot. So we stopped in Mexico, of course.
Yes.
And I realized during my day at Epcot that Mexico is the most popular destination for everyone. Everyone was having a party in Mexico. So many people. And we went inside the pyramid. And it was so cool. Like the night market, all of the things to buy. And then you told me about your tequila bar. And so I told my mom that we have to go to this cave.
Yes.
And so we did the little ride, which was so,
Yes.
Loved it. And I'm Mexican, my mom's Mexican. So we're like, oh, look, it's Acapulco. It's this.
Yeah.
It was so cute. And,
Nice.
the city, the little tower. It's old, but it's, it feels good when the place is so lively. And that place is so lively.
Totally.
Everything was there. It was like a party in there. And I kind of wish that I had eaten there, which I did not know. And I only wish that because it was so lively and it was so many people and everyone was sitting down. And then we went into the cave and they were so nice. I asked for, what is his name?
Barbas. Jose Barbas.
And yeah, such a cool little bar. I had a great time. I had the avocado margarita.
Yeah,
I loved it. I thought it was
so good.
It was so good. I could taste the avocado, but it wasn't weird, if that makes sense. It's well done. And I was like, oh, I can taste it, but it's not off-putting.
So you can tell it's avocado, but it's not what you think.
Right.
And then my mom had the smoky drink where it came and like they smoked the lily.
Oh, the lily. Yeah.
She loved it.
It's a good one.
Wanted to buy this. She asked if she could buy the
smoke gun.
The smoke gun.
Oh wow. Okay, that's hilarious.
And it was like a little. Like I would have stayed there more. Like it was so cool.
We typically spend hours there.
Yeah, 2-3 hours. We've been at least 3 hours before.
And
Yeah.
I think that's such a great thing. And especially since Epcot is a little bit slower than other places, you really don't have to go anywhere. And it would be so nice to have had a little bit more time there. And Barbara's, of course, was great. And he was wearing the pin.
Yes, that my son gave him. Did he say that? Was he talking about it?
Yeah, he was like, they gave this to me. They gave this to me. And I was like,
awesome.
It was so cute to think that he was wearing it.
Yeah.
And that even, like, I don't know when the last time you saw him, but maybe he wears it every day. It was just so cute to think that, he's wearing it, and it was from you guys. It was from your So that's
he says he wears it every day.
Well, he does.
That's what he says. That's awesome. Yeah, you sent me a picture, so I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Got evidence.
So awesome. I'm really happy about that. That's cool.
So then we went to, I think we went to China because that was lunchtime, and my favorite cuisine is Chinese.
Yeah.
And so we ate at the Nine Dragons.
Yeah.
Picked it because it was Chinese, and it was that typical American Chinese.
Yeah.
Joint, huge, over the top, like too many tables for the people that are in there.
Right.
To be honest, for American Chinese, I was satisfied. It had something nice. I don't know, the type of special chicken that they had, the orange chicken or kung pao. It was nice and crispy. Tristan had rice. My mom had something else. It was very standard. Really nothing to write home about, but did it check the box of like American Chinese? Yes, it did.
I've actually never eaten at the Nine Dragons before.
Really?
I've done the quick service. I've done the
quick service. Yeah, the quick service next to it I've done, but I'm not done the sit down Nine Dragons yet.
It was fine. It was good. It was what we wanted. We didn't want to have. What is the signature dining of Epcot?
There are several.
Monsieur Paul in
France. Yep. There is Takumite. I went to Takumite, which
Takumite is probably the most signature.
It's the omakase, not 8-course menu, full experience in Japan.
Nice.
Yes, it was
very expensive.
Yeah,
but didn't you have
several?
Yeah. Anyway, it was good. Yeah, there's a lot of great places to eat there. Yeah.
So we had a good time. It's very standard, but good.
Yeah.
And then we went. We were looking for a ride in China, and we realized that there was no ride in China. We went into this. Like, apparently, there was like a show that they have.
Yeah.
We did not do the show because my mom got distracted by the store.
Oh yeah, it's a good store. They do have a good store.
Yeah, and it's so funny going into a store like that. Like, this is exactly what I think Americans think of. Like, such a typical American store that sells what Americans think Chinese.
Right.
I don't know. It was like so tchotchke-esque.
Really?
So many tchotchkes. So many Chinese tchotchkes. It's so funny. And I wanted to send a photo to some of my Chinese neighbor friends here. There's a lot of Chinese people here from China.
Yeah.
I live in a building the address is 888. And 888 is like a super lucky number in China. And so they are attracted to the address of this building because it's good luck. And it's also a nice building. And so there's so many mainland Chinese people here. And I was going to send them a photo of look, this is China this is Epcot's China. And so funny.
Nice.
But I kind of love the tchotchke-ness of it. I kind of love, all of Epcot is a little tchotchke-esque, all of these little vignettes of the different destinations. And some people might say that it's a little bit debasing of culture, and it's whatever. But I think it's nice, and I think it's cute, and it tries to expand a typical American's knowledge of these destinations. And
they also have to make money, so they have to put stuff on the shelves people buy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They do put some very authentic stuff in a few of the stores, and those are the things that people buy less of, but I like it when they do have it, right?
Yeah. So we went to Germany, and speaking of authentic, my mom was like, "Do you guys have German beer?" And they're like, "We sure do." And so we got some German beers, had a good time, drank them, walked around, did all of the things. We stopped at Italy. I think Italy had some of the best Disney merchandise in their store. It was so cute. All of the Mickey and Minnie on Vacation. All of the merch in Italy was so nice, and I did not see it anywhere else, even like in the main stores. And so I was like, oh wow, like I didn't realize that there's certain stores in Disney that sell certain merchandise that you can't get in other places.
Right.
And this was one of the times where I liked something. I was like, oh, I'm gonna see it somewhere else. Nope.
Never saw it. Yeah.
It's just here in Italy. And
Nice.
so I would say to anyone, if you're looking for like some nice, interesting merch that's really cute and like vacation Italian-esque, go and check out the store in Italy.
It's a good tip.
Did you go to the Japan store? Because that's where our favorite Japan store.
I think we did
Sort
go
of
to the
relaxing
Japan.
atmosphere.
Mitsukoshi.
Mitsukoshi.
It was really cool. I mean, I also love all things Japan. Tristan was having a ball. And then what did we do?
Was it Ratatouille time at that point? I was trying to remember
Yes.
if you did that. I think you did that.
And that's why we're going down here. Okay. I'm pulling up my list. After Avatar and Guardians, this is my third favorite ride.
Wow.
First of all, I'm a little bit partial because I love Ratatouille. I love it so much that I bought a little Ratatouille companion, a little Remy companion on my chest.
Nice. Nice.
And Epcot, France, so cute. Loved it. And the ride was also like what I envision a new Disney ride to be. So immersive, like feeling the heat of the flames, smelling what they're cooking.
That was great.
Feeling there were so many times that they give you they hit all your senses, and it was 3D. It was so cool. I was really, really, really impressed by it. I really liked it. What do you guys think about Ratatouille?
I
liked it a lot. I think that I like that they kept it the same as the one that they built originally in France. So they didn't change it, and they kept like the track, the French and English mix is the exact same as the one that was originally built at Disneyland Paris, which I like that they did that when they moved it over, because I was worried they were going to make it all English, but I like that they blended the two together.
Yeah. My wife loves this ride. I think it's probably one of her favorites. It might be in her top 5.
I think
we do it every time.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only difference, just so you know, between Disneyland Paris and this one is in Disneyland Paris, they have individual seats in the rat, but we're too fat in America, so they made them bench seats for in the rat.
Or rats are too fat.
Yeah. Fat rat.
Right.
So that was a highlight. Yeah. And then after that, I think we went to go to the glide around the world.
Soarin'. Yeah.
Soarin' was nice. It was dated, and especially that...
Shit, that's weird.
Compared to Flight of Passage, which is kind of a similar style of... Sort of, right?
Yeah, Flight of Passage is the next step.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we had already done Flight of Passage, and so this was definitely... not that
down,
but still nice.
Yeah.
But where it is, whatever this pavilion that it's in,
the Land Pavilion.
That was from the 90s. I walked in there, I was like, this is
before that.
From the 90s.
Yeah.
Before
80s. Yeah, for sure.
Retro. It was kind of cool. It was like one of those old malls. So I was into that. I was loving that.
Nice.
You never thought about it like that, actually, but it hasn't changed that much.
Since it opened.
Yeah, that was definitely old school 90s, 80s, whatever.
Right.
At the very like I think like malls of that time loved like plants in the interior, and then like windows with the sun coming in, and these like pillars, very what I think would be like a 90s mall. And then after that we went back to Norway and we went to Frozen, and I love Olaf.
Yes, this is when I learned that, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
he's probably like one of my number one Disney characters. And so I was very happy that he was the best part of that ride.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. It wasn't like a Ratatouille experience for me.
Right. For sure.
I liked it. I wouldn't say that it was anything special.
The thing that creeps people out is the projection faces.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It was creepy. And I remember seeing, I think at the end, that it's like a woman who doesn't blend correctly. And
right.
So the face is a different color than the neck.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't they just, I don't know, like, why didn't they just make it the same color?
It does stand out.
And so they're releasing a version of, not this particular ride, but similar ride overseas. And they decided to not do the face projection, to make real animatronics, because
they look so much better.
Looks so good.
There's an Elsa.
Because there's also been some times, can you imagine this? There's been times people have been on it and the projections are off, and so it's just blank faces.
Yeah.
Like iRobot. Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. But also, too, this is an old ride that basically got re-themed to Frozen, that's kind of why it doesn't have the feel of like Ratatouille, because it's basically an old ride that's re-skinned to
So I remember
be Frozen.
going to Epcot when I was a child or young, and I remember going to Norway, and I remember going on the Norway ride.
Yeah,
and
Maelstrom. Yeah,
was like, I guess, a history of Norway, and I remember specifically at the end, there's like these like oil, like in the ocean, and I was like, what a weird like what a weird thing to like put in a ride, like, oh, you're like these little oil drills, like that's not like aesthetically pleasing. But as I grew up, I realized that they make all their money through the oil, and like it, I guess, changed Norway's life. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but that always stuck out as like, oh, this is the end of the ride, is these like oil things.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You know, early on in that ride, in that scene you're talking about, they actually, I don't think it worked for a long time at the end, but they actually recreated like a bolt of lightning in that room. Like they actually shot a bolt of lightning in that room.
Easily.
So yeah.
Very nice.
I remember it being dark.
Yeah.
I don't remember the lightning though, but I remember. So that was the location of that ride.
Yeah. And it's now Frozen. Yeah.
Is there any? I would be curious to know if there's any plans for any of the other like destination rides, like Mexico or other ones. Like, are they changing them at all?
Rumors of Coco always abound for that one.
Yeah, right. But they haven't done it yet. So,
I mean,
who knows?
COVID changed a lot of that. I think they would have done it by now, but COVID stopped that.
Way back in the day, Japan was supposed to get a ride.
It's going to be a coaster.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, technically, when you rode Winnie the Pooh replaced more or less the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Right.
So
it was Germany was going to get a ride too, but they never happened.
There is a whole show building in Japan Germany. Whole show building in Germany
just blocked off or walled off.
Right. It was going to be, but never happened. Anyway.
And then we're ending the end of our day at Epcot. I had to take. They were ready to leave, but I was like, we have to go to what's that old ride?
Spaceship Earth.
Spaceship Earth.
Inside, yeah.
So I was like, we have to go inside. I mean, it's the it's the thing. It's the
icon.
Yeah. And I love Dame Judi Dench.
Yes.
When she started speaking, I was like, okay, I'm into this.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
And I mean, obviously, kind of had that kind of like the other one, the Walt Disney Family Ride, kind of had that smell of like old machinery.
Old smell. Yeah.
But
Rome burning.
it was really informative of like the history of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you should, like, just like it's A Bug's Life. I think that this is one of the things that you do when you're at Epcot, just because.
For sure.
But I like it a lot. I'm only sad that they were, before COVID, they were going to redo it.
Oh, really?
Like update it, refresh it, and then that fell on the budget cut floor.
Yeah. It's going to get a more modern refresh.
But because it didn't, you still got to listen to Dame Judi Dench, because she was going to get replaced with a new narrator.
You get to thank the Phoenicians.
Yeah,
exactly. Always thank the Phoenicians.
Thank the Phoenicians. Yes.
It's a thing. Yeah, you have
It's
to
like
do
the common line that people pull out of this, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that was our day. I loved it, and I actually wish, like, I feel like this park is also like super lovely at night.
Hey.
I would have loved to have stayed at night and walked around, and I saw last year we saw the Epcot night experience. I don't know what it's called.
Last year was Harmonious. That's now gone.
Are you talking about Are you talking about the show on the lagoon? Are you talking about Harmonious?
Okay, yeah, Harmonious. Yeah.
They've since replaced that back to Epcot Forever. It's a temporary show before the next. Like Epcot Forever used to be there. They brought Harmonious in. got rid of Harmonious, playing Epcot Forever until something new is coming. We don't know what it'll be.
Yeah, they keep throwing stuff against the wall to see if something will stick, and they haven't yet. Basically,
yeah. Really, the best thing about Epcot at night now is the projections on Spaceship Earth. Really, in the show,
or the light up, the
lighting,
the LEDs.
Yeah,
it just seems. And I would have they were telling me that in a few weeks the
Food and Wine Festival.
Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah. Today, actually, it started as we were recording this.
I would have loved to have experienced that and stayed and maybe had a dining experience at night at one of the signature.
Yeah.
Definitely, like, this was my favorite park. For me, two of the best rides, Ratatouille and Guardians. So, this was the highlight day of our time at Disney.
Nice.
And then finally, the last day, Hollywood Studios. And of course, at this time,
fatigue is really.
The fatigue is strong with this park, and it's also so hot.
Hollywood Studios, for some reason, is hotter than everywhere else somehow. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they made it hotter.
Especially Toy Story Land.
Oh my God.
There's no shade. Toy Story Land.
It was so hot. So I think.
I know I got you Smuggler's Run at the beginning of the day.
Yes. Star Wars.
Yeah.
So we walk in. Oh my God, so cute. And you were right. You said that this park is the best. Like, the areas are themed really well. Like, all of the areas are themed really well. And I was like, themed. Here's the thing. When Hollywood Studios, to me, it was a little bit weird. This is the first time I went to this park.
Okay.
And so I was always a little bit strange about what it's like. Hollywood is in LA. So I guess this is all about LA and like Hollywood and making of movies. And then I realized that that's a lot. We did the Indiana Jones thing. And then it was like, oh, we're making a movie.
Right.
I was like, oh, this makes sense. So everything is about the studios and making a movie.
Kind of, yeah.
I was about to say,
that's the original intent.
I was going to say, it's funny that the one thing you just mentioned was actually there when they did that.
Yeah, there.
I
was telling you, too, about the Chinese theater, and you were asking about why the Mickey and Minnie ride and everything. And I was like, well, it used to be a great movie.
Yeah. Used to be the whole reason we built this park, right?
Yeah, that's why it didn't make sense to me. There was dissonance there because I was like, it's about Hollywood. And I know that there's like a famous Chinese theater in LA. Yeah. So I was talking to my mom about it. And it was weird because it had nothing to do with Mickey. And then all of a sudden it was like Mickey.
Right. Yeah.
But I thought it was cute, like the way that they like did that whole like, and like come inside to land.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cute, but I don't understand why you're entering theater.
This park has lost its identity. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, when it opened, there was the backlot tour. They actually shot TV shows and stuff there. Like, it was a real studio.
Yeah, some movies were actually filmed in there too.
Yeah, well, they attempted to make it a working studio, but at least was about
Golden Girls.
Yeah, and I don't understand like the Toy Story land. Like, it just all of the lands are really cute and they make sense, but together they do not make sense.
Thank you.
Together they don't make sense.
I've been saying it's a mess since they did this.
Right.
That park is
They're
a mess.
great lands shoved together in a park, but there's no cohesion. Because you go directly from Toy Story Land into Star Wars.
Yes.
Like that's a weird transition. But yeah.
But back to the day we went to Star Wars, and that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, they did Star Wars really well. And I was like, oh, I don't really take pictures of like random, like, let me take a photo. But when there was like an alleyway with some stores and just it was just like a regular, but it looks so immersive. I was like, oh, we're in a market or Tatooine. I don't know where we're supposed to.
Batu, a made-up planet. Yeah.
And smugglers run really cool, and I did not know anything about the ride going in, and so I didn't know about the placements of people in the ride matter.
Yeah.
And so we were just waiting, and like okay, you two, like the front two are going to be pilots, and the back two are going to be gunners.
Yeah.
And so my mom was next to me, was like, yeah, I was going to be a pilot.
Oh, okay. I see where this is going.
We realized that we were actually moving the ride. We're like, oh, this is so cool. I was up and down. No, I was left and right. My mom was up and down.
Yeah. I think.
And so I was like, oh, you have to steer us. So she starts freaking out. She starts pressing all the buttons, like going like this.
That's awesome.
It was so fun. It was laughing. I was laughing so much. And at some point, like, I took control of both of the controllers because we were running into everything. And Tristan was in the back, like, trying to shoot everything. I thought that was so fun.
That's awesome.
And it actually, if I had the chance, I would want to do it again to see if my mom wasn't there and we actually were steering correctly, if that would have changed like the dialogue of the ride. If they would have said like, oh, you're doing so well, instead of like, you're crashing.
Yes.
That was a close call. So do you guys know if the dialogue changes?
There's some differences, but if I assume when you got off the ride, the ship was in disrepair.
Yes, that they had to do repairs.
So there's like electric things snapping and all this stuff when you walk out. So if you actually steal the ship well, you won't see that. Like if you don't crash at all or take on damage, it won't have any.
They don't have any at the exit. Huh?
You won't have any damage.
I've always looked at that and thought, I mean, I've never actually exited the ride when it didn't have damage of some kind.
And I guess the big not so well kept secret is if you get 6 people to go in there together and they all sit down and you press the wrong button, I think everybody has to press the wrong button before they put their seatbelt on.
Yeah.
So everybody has to sit down, not put their seatbelt
down.
Hold a button and put their seatbelt on. If you do it, it turns on Chewie mode, and the whole ride is just
Chewie talking
Chewbacca
the whole
yelling.
time. Yeah, it's just Chewie talking. There's no other dialogue. It's just
like an Easter egg.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
We've never actually gotten Chewie mode because I don't think we've had a group of 6.
We've had a group of 6. We've had a group of 6, but it involves children that are not going
they
to
don't
listen to.
understand. Like,
I was going to say, you ever had a cooperative group of 6?
Good point.
That's so cool.
So you have to look up Chewie mode and
Chewie mode.
figure it out. But it's a fun, and you can get 2 containers of coaxium or 1, and I would assume maybe you don't even get any if you are really bad. I guess.
Everybody gets 1, no matter.
That's what I
think everybody gets.
But you can get 2. There is a.
I have gotten 2 before.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 a few times. Yeah. Anyway,
that was cool. that was a fun ride. And then we went to Oga's Cantina.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You told me, and then I realized it's
right.
that
Right.
Cantina.
Yeah.
So cool. Like the drinks are so cool. Everything about it, like super. Like I recommend it wholeheartedly for a drink. And then I think it was time for lunch.
Yeah, you went to Brown Derby, right, for lunch? I know we talked about it.
So we went to Brown Derby. It was good. My mom did not enjoy it. This was the only restaurant that my mom was not very enthused about. It's beautiful. It's nice.
Yeah.
Great. And server's great. The menu was a little bit limited. It was definitely a dinner menu. And I was like, oh, they didn't have like a lunch menu option. But it was fine. Famous Cobb salad.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, it's famous. So my mom and I both get the Cobb salad. Tristan, who only eats rice and meat, gets the filet. That was like $60 for lunch.
Gosh, yeah.
Ooh, wow.
That's true. It's a signature restaurant.
So that wasn't the part where she was bad, but the part was she just didn't like her Cobb salad. I had the same Cobb salad. I liked it. I liked the Cobb salad.
I could see it could
My
be.
mom said it was overpowered by the cheese. There was too much cheese.
Blue cheese can be,
It was so overpowering. So she called the waiter and said, "This is gross."
Wow.
And he was so nice. He actually comped the salad for her.
Oh, that's.
But FYI, my mom is one of these. If you ever meet my mom, she is one of those people that she can complain at restaurants.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't like someone, if someone asks her, "How was your experience?" she'll be like, "Well, this sucked."
You're just straightforward.
But I liked it. So I liked it. I liked the Cobb salad. I was a little bit surprised that the menu was, I don't know. I guess with thinking back at the signature place at Tiffin's, I guess it's also very dinner-y.
Yeah.
But here I really thought like, oh, these are the options. But I love the Cobb salad. I recommend it myself. I had a good time. I ate all of it. I added chicken. It was great.
Yeah. I always add chicken too.
So do you guys love the Derby?
So we don't do the Brown Derby sit down anymore because we've actually had a few bad waiting experiences there. So we do the lounge, which is outside. We do the lounge.
Yeah, I mentioned to you the lounge is that's where we tend to go.
Outside?
It is.
It is only
It's too
outside.
hot. It's too hot, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. So we looked at that and was like, oh, like I think this is supposed to be a lounge. But no, like it was too hot. People were not about to sit outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the only, because we don't usually sit there and eat the dinner, and I want to try it again. It's interesting that was not your favorite too, because I've been like, should we give it another shot? Should we not? It was not the food that got us. We have had some bad service experiences there, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We had a big group.
So,
but
we had a big group.
I will say, just to be clear, Danielle at the lounge is like one of my favorite. It's Barbas and then Danielle's number 2. She's fantastic at the Brown Derby Lounge, but she only does the lounge. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was a mixed review for the Derby.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. My mom did not. Sin does not count because Kanan only eats meat and rice.
Right.
And so then after that, I think it was time to do Star Wars Resistance.
Rise and Resistance. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so cool. So it's so interesting because I think out of all the parks, this might have been not like it's probably the fourth park, like fourth place in terms of parks. But this is a really cool ride, and
My current ranking.
I would have to say like you have to go to this park for this ride. Like this ride was so cool.
Yeah.
Just the lead up to it.
Yeah.
Like you're okay, so you're in line, you get to the place where you're hired as like a whatever
You've joined the resistance.
joined
Yeah.
resistance. and then you go into this.
Transport ship, essentially.
Transports you
Yeah.
to. So you're transported,
You
and
get
then you captured by the star
First order people.
the first
Bad
order,
guys.
get beamed up, and you open up, and it's like you're on the ship.
Yeah.
One of the best moments of the whole thing.
I was blown away, and then like acting
Yeah.
like you're like prisoners of war or whatever. And, we're all all the prisoners are just taking photos of like the stormtroopers. It's so funny, but the way that it was so well done, the way that you see,
It's impressive.
so impressive. You go into the room and you're supposed to like wait for yourself because you're a prisoner, and you get rescued. The whole thing was remarkable. I think one of the most impressive parts was when you see, what are the ones, the big old elephant,
The
AT-ATs,
AT-ATs, yeah.
Yeah. Walkers.
It felt like it felt so like they felt
Massive.
as they should
Yeah.
feel. They felt big.
Massive.
And walking around, like everything about that ride was
Really cool.
so cool. I did. The only thing I would say is that I was expecting like a fast movement or something, like a little bit of like and then that's what happened at the end when you like
A little drop. Yes.
the little drop. Like
Yeah.
I was expecting that, and then I was like, "Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I guess it's not going to come." And then it happened,
Right.
and I was like, "Oh, this is nice. I liked it, but I wanted a little bit more from the drop."
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, that's if I wasn't a fan of Ratatouille.
Right.
If Ratatouille wasn't near and dear to my heart,
Yeah.
I would say that was number 3 for me.
Okay.
Besides Flight, Guardians, that would have been, I think, most people's top 3.
Yeah. The top 5 for sure.
Okay. After that, we go to Toy Story Land. Slinky apparently is like the ride to be.
Yeah.
But we were so roller coastered out. I was like, we're not going to do Slinky.
Oh.
Was that a mistake?
Well, I mean, I was just going to say it's one of those that I think the
one of our
consensus is
favorites.
that the consensus is it's a lot more fun than it looks.
They didn't want to do it.
I get
Yeah.
it, though. They were at that point. Yeah. I gave
So we
up.
went to the Toy Story Mania. That was so fun.
That's a
That
good
was
one.
so fun. That's such a good one. It was like the Buzz Lightyear
Yes.
in Magic
A
Kingdom.
little bit better.
And this is so, like, I was with Tristan. He beat me, which was like really weird because I'm usually good at these things. And I realized that there's a high score, and that's one of those rides that I feel like people do a lot just to like, oh, what are the different strategies of like what you should be hitting, or like, is it
Oh, there's
volume of things hit or the value of things hit?
There's like secret targets.
Secret target. Yeah, it's one of those rides that you have to do over and over again to like master.
Right.
Super cool. Definitely, you have to do it at the park. Then we did the Indiana Jones outside. Cool experience. I liked it. The girl messed up though. She messed up. She called. There was 2 people. One was named, let's say, Adam. One was named George. And she called them both Adam.
Oh.
And it was confusing. And then at the end, I think George said, "My name's George," and then they started laughing on stage, which was kind of funny. That was fine. That was cute. Then we went to Frozen because I'm a big. Oh, we met Olaf.
Yes. I was going to say.
I took Olaf because I love Olaf. That was cute. Got some photos.
Yeah.
Would go to the Frozen sing along,
Nice.
which I am a Frozen fan.
It's a great show, too. It's a really fun show.
It was so cute. The actors were so fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely, and then the little like soap snow.
Mm-hmm.
Soap snow was so fun. Everything I wanted in a sing along for Frozen. And then we went to the Mickey Minnie's Runaway Train.
Yeah.
And we already talked about how weird that it's in the Chinese theater.
Yes.
But the ride itself was so cool.
Yeah.
It was so
It was fun.
cool. I think it was done well. compared to the Frozen ride, this was so much better and more seamless, and it was so cute. I loved the art style of the Mickey and Minnie and Goofy, like I guess you would call this traditional art style of Mickey and Minnie.
It's actually from a newer cartoon series of Mickey Mouse shorts. Yeah. On Disney Plus, you can find them.
How old is this ride?
Not 2020. It actually opened March 2020.
Yeah. It felt
Pretty
new.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's pretty new.
And then after that, we went to Pixar Plaza to walk around. Since this was our last park, we spent the last few hour or so shopping. My mom shop.
It's a good place to shop, though. They have some good shops.
They did some good They had some good shops. We bought everything we needed to buy. Well, that was basically my entire experience. Again, it was Avatar Flight, Guardians, Ratatouille, and
Rise.
Wars Rise. Yeah. And my favorite parks were Epcot. Number 2, I would probably have to say Animal Kingdom because of Avatar.
Yeah.
But in reality, that park needs a little bit of work with the dino.
Definitely needs it. Yeah. Good point.
All of the parks, that one is the one that needs some loving the most. And
but it's just one corner that needs love.
Yeah, one corner. But I think overall, like, I love the animals. I think everything is well done. And then Magic Kingdom third, just because it's so exhausting. And there's so much to do. And none of my favorite rides are at the park. Which is interesting.
Right.
And then fourth is Hollywood, just because
it's a hot mess. It's literally a hot mess.
That's exactly my rankings currently, is that order.
But they're all musts, I guess, and they do that on purpose because
a lot of great rides there, though.
A lot of great rides in all of the parks, except for Magic Kingdom. But you have to go to Magic Kingdom. At the end, I was like, when are you starting your travel agency that is specifically for Disney? Because I would never be able to do, like, without you, it would have been a completely different experience. And if I had to recommend someone to do Disney who's never done it before, you have to do a travel agent. You have to have help.
Yeah.
Or you have to have a class. Like, you have to have someone teach you.
Yeah.
Which maybe that could be me for a friend, but if it's someone that I'm not going to do this for someone that I don't really know.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm not Adam. And but it was, I would say to anyone going to Disney, very expensive.
Yes.
But you have to do the Genie Plus. You have to do the Lightning Lanes. Like, these are musts.
That's what they want to hear.
You have to learn this app.
Yes. Right.
And even the dining, like, if we did dining on a dime and did all of the fast dining and just outside constantly in the heat, I don't know if it would have been the same. Like, I liked the sit down, a little bit more expensive, like, reprieves of the day.
Yeah.
But I can understand it when you have a lot of kids and you have to feed all these kids and they're not going to sit down and eat a filet every meal.
Right. Exactly.
So there's a lot of quick service that have inside seating.
Yeah.
And mobile ordering, which is helpful.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait in lines. But
that's a whole other thing.
Yes. Another topic for another day.
I would, definitely. I had a blast. I liked the 4-day experience. There's just a lot. There's a lot to do. It's exhausting, but at the end of the day, I was exhausted, but I felt accomplished. Adam, I can't thank you enough for really changing my Disney experience.
I'm glad I could.
I had a great time. I am filled with Disney, and I would go again. I would go again soon.
Nice.
It would be fun to go with friends. It would be fun to go with people.
A group.
And I'm gay, and I know that they have like a gay
in June.
day.
In June. The whole month, really. Pride Month.
And it's at one of the splash parks, right? Like it's one of the water
Well,
parks.
Magic Kingdom, they have a day in June that everyone wears red and you can go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think they have something at one of the.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
they
it's
do.
like a party. It's like a circuit party.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a whole weekend now.
Yeah.
In June. But
so
yeah.
I'd like to experience that.
Yeah.
If we're ever in Disney at the same time, I'd love to hang out with you guys because that seems like a lot of fun.
Yes. Yes. So we'll do our little outro. John, where can you find us?
Well, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is all at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store in which you can buy your exclusive TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast. We also have a YouTube channel in which the latest video on there right now currently is the ride on Tron that I did the last time I was there, if you want to go check that out. And where else can you find this information, Adam?
Our website, which is travelingwiththemouse.com. You can email us podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com. And we do have a travel agent friend if you want assistance booking your next trip. That information is also on our website. So for John, Jason, and Raul, thank you again. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.